Subscribe to the Donnie Houston podcast, man.
What's up, y'all? I'm Kyle Mathews. I'm rocking with my boy Donnie Houston. Y'all check out the show. Y'all support the show. Thanks.
Yeah, man, it's going down. It's Donnie Houston podcast. I am Donnie Houston. Check it out, man. We got a special guest. You know what I'm saying? Hey, listen, man. Not a rapper. You know what I'm saying? Ex-trapper, you know what I'm saying? Street cat, man. You know what I mean? I saw a story on another program that I really enjoyed, man, with Vivian King, and he was just telling it and how they was coming up on the Southwest, and you know, boys ended up robbing a bank, and it was just really going down. I was just really intrigued by his story, you know what I'm saying? But he's living a completely different life now, you know what I'm saying, on the positive side of things. And I'm glad to have him here, man. Kyle Mathews, what's going down?
Chilling, man. I appreciate it, man. Thank you for having me.
For sure, man. I appreciate you coming through, bro. Like I said, I saw you, and I'm like, man, I got to know more than I just want to know more, dog. Like it was, you know, very intriguing, dog. You know what I'm saying? But what you doing right now, though? Let's talk about that before we even get to your background. You know what I'm saying? Where you at today?
Right now, I'm trying to amend for all the wrongs that I committed when I was younger.
Okay.
I do community work. I help my brothers and sisters who come home from prison get their finances in order. I day trade. I volunteer. Everything good to outweigh the bad, that's what I'm on. That's what I do. So...
Was that a thing for you when you got out? Like, man, I gotta like clean this up and do something different.
Yeah, so I got locked up 2 days after I turned 20, and I didn't get out till I was almost 44. So you don't know how many sunrises and sunsets you have left, and running that back wasn't part of the plan. So I had a good support system. My dad, my uncles. Because most of my family passed away when I was gone. I had my sister and my cousins and stuff to help me out. And a lot of my blessings came from, you know, tragedy. But mostly my cousin, I call her my sister, but she's my cousin. She told me, we're not doing no more time, so if you got anything left in you, you're going to do that by yourself. So that stuck. And it just feels better out here. You know, being confined, no matter how comfortable or how you want to shape it, nothing compares. So, like it's an old saying, your worst day out here is your...
It's better than your best day in there.
Yeah.
Okay, so what year did you come home?
2018.
God damn. Okay, after 24 years. Is it 24 years?
23 and a half.
24 years. So much world changed. So you go in 20 years old. This is what year? What year
1994.
Jesus Christ. Damn, the Rockets just getting ready to win the first one and all that. Had they won yet already?
Yeah, they won it.
You got to see that.
I caught the first one.
Okay. All right. Okay. Cool. Okay, so take me back, man. Coming back. You grew up on what? The Southwest, or what side of town you was on?
Southwest and Alief.
Alief, okay. Tell me about how Alief was, because I had some cousins in Alief, and I used to go over there like, you've probably already been gone. I started going over there like 95, like Coral Gables, Stone Ridge over there, like Beach Nut, the Beltway, you know what I'm talking about? Spice Lane area, all that.
Yeah.
Like, how was Alief when you were coming up?
Alief was considered a suburb, a nice suburb when my mom moved out there in the 80s.
Y'all went houses or y'all went apartments?
When we moved to Alief, we were in a house off Kirkwood. We was in the Keegan's Glen was the area. That's what it's called. So it was nice, but there was something under the surface that everybody could feel.
This is like what year?
We moved out there in 1983.
Okay, so before the crack got too jumping, before it got
right. So crack really took a while to get to Alief. It just hadn't made it out Fifth Ward, South Park, Sunnyside, and niggas home like that. So it took a while. The first thing that hit Alief was the gangs.
No shit.
Man,
when did you first start seeing gangs over there?
When I was in middle school. So I went to Cummings Elementary and Holler Middle School for a time. And at that time, a lot of they be considered cliques now, but back then they were gangs.
Was it Crips and Bloods or like what was it? What was the
Not-
sets over there?
Not yet. You had like LFD, Little Freak Dogs, Alief Gangsters. It's been so long. It was a bunch of them. Like, you can have friends and like, you got a partner over here, you got a partner over there, you got another partner over here. These two cliques roll with each other, but they don't mess with them. But you cool with all that. So if you get in a fight, you might wind up starting something that can create something bigger. You see what I'm saying? So
Were you getting involved with the cliques, or you was just kind of just seeing what was going on at the time?
I was just hanging. I've always been social. You see, so I've never, even when I did get involved with that later on in life, I had friends in so-called enemy gangs. You see what I'm saying? I'm not talking about somebody I know. I'm talking about a friend. You know, we'll ride or die together. So just coming up, you know, it was just a lot of fighting and, you know, playing ball and stuff like that, going to school and go home, because we were in households who cared.
There was some structure going on.
Right. But there was, you know, you get labeled being, back then, being mainly, oh, y'all South. Okay, we're going to show you who's South. So that starts getting ingrained in you, and then you start doing silly stuff. You see what I'm saying?
So this middle school, when did you start getting that bug and kind of start jumping off the porch a little bit?
In the 7th grade, I just started acting out, right? So
Nothing triggered that? Wasn't nothing going on with the crib? Nothing? Just, man.
I didn't come from a perfect home, because my mother had a boyfriend at the time, my stepfather now, but I didn't know until I was well into adulthood that he had PTSD. He fought in Vietnam. So things would just set him off, and all three of us would be in there fighting like them old cartoons you see where everybody's just mixing it up. That was us sometime. So you're not going to put your hands on my mother, and I'm not just going to stand there and watch. I'm getting in that. Didn't win, but
Yeah.
you know.
But yeah, you're going to see me though.
Yeah, we getting in that. So all my friends were out there. I got in so much trouble. My mother sent me to live with my dad in Michigan for the 8th grade. So I get shipped up there. I hated it. I did not like it because, one, he had moved to a different part of town that I knew that where he was living. So I didn't know anybody over there. So now I'm expecting in 8th grade, I'm a total foreigner to try to fit in. And I like to play football in Michigan. It's more or less a basketball state. I don't play basketball. That's what they off into that. So that's when I saw firsthand real gangs. That's when I saw what a black disciple and a gangster disciple was. That was there. That was already firmly entrenched. I'm like, wow, what is this? So I wound up getting cool with some of them. Just going through the 8th grade, but the whole school year, because my pop wasn't playing, you know, you're going to have your grades together, you know, you're going to do this, you're going to do that. Okay, fine. And I did that, but I had to leave. I just didn't like, well, I was born in Saginaw, Michigan. Just picture the worst part of Sunnyside as a city, a small city. Saginaw is destitute. They call it Sag Nasty. And the reputation precedes itself. But I didn't like it. So I eased back down here for high school. So now, mind you,
You back on the West?
Yeah, I went to Hastings. So for the 9th grade, we were still in Alief. In between 9th and 10th grade, my mother decided to move to West Airport by Westbury. I don't know a soul over here. So I'm not afraid to go outside. I used to go out and walk the neighborhood, and nobody's outside. I used to walk to the, what's those apartments behind Greenhouse Patio? Hillcroft Square. Used to walk through there, walk the greenhouse, cattails, all that. Okay, nobody's doing anything. Go to the park, nobody's hooping, nobody's doing nothing. So now I got to figure out a way to get to my friends in Alief. And back then, buses didn't go, get you from point A to point B, get you close. So just frustrated trying to get out there and get back because I had to ride with her to go to school because she taught at Elsick. They wouldn't let me go there. I was the only one they wouldn't let go to the school with their parent. There was a lot of students that went, teachers at Hastings had their children there, teachers at Elsick had their children there. They told my mother no, which was cool. So go to Hastings. Now all these cliques are starting to transform into something else. That's when I started seeing BD down here. And I just a few weeks ago at a book signing ran into one of the guys who brought it down here. And somewhere along the way, I met a lot of dudes who brought it from Chicago. So a lot of those smaller gangs, they became that. And that just became a animal unto itself, because it got so big so fast. Because back then, you just see BD everywhere, spray painted everywhere. Everywhere you turn, BD, BD, BD. Like, all right. But my mind, I wanted to play ball. But other things get in the way of that. So, play ball, ninth grade, getting a few fights here and there because it was a thing for some reason. There's a bus lane because Elsick is right here, Hastings right here, the annex right here, and there's a bus lane behind it. The thing after school, for some reason, let's just have a riot. So it's just fighting up and down the bus lane after school every day. You would think the administrators would do something about that. When you finally get to your bus, you're gone. You either lumped up or you lump somebody up.
It used to be like that at Madison. It was a store. It ain't even called Waddell's no more, but Waddell's is right across the street from Madison. Like after school, it's pretty much like, yeah, it's pretty much gonna be going down at Waddell's. Waddell's literally right across the street from Madison, dog. But yeah. Nobody said shit. It just went on. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
So now you worried about getting jumped on if you ain't with your friends, or you can step on somebody's shoe, whatever. It became a sport. So the sport became more and more violence because my ninth grade year was the first time I had ever been around one of our classmates got murdered that year. So that was like, we not from the hood. So everybody like, damn, dude got chopped down pretty good. And he was an athlete, he played basketball. So now the guns is starting to come into play and whatnot. The only thing that kept me just from falling all the way off the cliff sooner was because I played ball. So 10th grade, I just went through the motion. I did just enough to stay eligible. After football season was over with, okay. Made more friends because you got to remember, between back then, Elsick and Hastings is 8,000 kids right there. So you got friends at Hastings, you got friends at Elsick. And a lot of us grew up together. Now, even though I didn't stay in Alief my whole time, I still had a group that I came up with, right? But a lot of kids had been since preschool together. So they either wound up at Elsick all the way from preschool to Elsick or preschool to Hastings or, some kind of mixture. But it just thinking back at it, I only remember like one administrator like trying to stop stuff. Because like in the morning times before class, we used to go to Elsick because we thought they had better looking girls over there. They thought we had better looking girls at Hastings, just human nature, whatever. We used to go over there, and this is the first time I seen somebody just get mollywopped. They got that boy in a circle and just aired him out. I'm like, man. So when security came, they doing ID checks. No way in the world I'm going to get around this. But I'd say Hastings on it. I'm not supposed to be here in the first place. They called my mama. I'm like, oh, man. So my mother came down, were you involved? 'Cause they busted the dude up pretty good. No, I was just coming in to do what I do. So they wrote me up, whatever, no harm, no foul. That stuck with me because I knew some of the dudes who did it, but I didn't know these other cats. But as time went on, it got more and more vicious. So at some point, you running around out here, you got to play defense. So we hung around what was called Smashville back then on Dare Ashford. But you also had Spice, Cinnamon, Woodfair, and Club Creek. That's where crack started in Alief, in that area over there. So you start seeing some of your partners disappearing, somebody shot, somebody stabbed, whatever. Like, man, what's going on over there? So it became almost a thing. Where we going? We're going to Woodfair. We're going to Club Creek. You see what I'm saying? You don't feel the sense of danger out there because you know everybody. And then somewhere along the way, up on corporate, they decided they wanted to be Bloods. Okay, so that's
Now
different.
you got to open up the creek. Yeah.
That's different. So this was like 1990. So 1991, things really kind of got out of control because you fighting in school, you fighting at the school, you go to the game, you fighting. After the game, something's going down. We used to go to like restaurants and squabble. Fame City back then.
Man, Fame City.
Now here's where we're crazy as a people. We could be warring all week, all month with people right here up under us. We get to Fame City, the target turned to them cats from Missouri City. Because in our minds, y'all the soft ones. You see?
Yeah.
It got kind of pushed along, you see what I'm saying? Because by now, Alief is kind of developing a violent reputation. So instead of just coming to Fame City and, dancing with the girl, chilling with the girl, trying to pull something, we more focused trying to make eye contact with these cats and start something with them. So something was always happening at Fame City. Man, I seen so much. It's
crazy to hear you talk about this. You talking about Fame City in like 90. And like when it turned to Funplex, like I seen some crazy fights like 2001, 2, 3. Like this shit was still going on.
Fame City was the spot where I first witnessed somebody get shot. One of my partners got shot up there. I'm like, oh man. And there's nothing you can do. You see? So people think you can just, okay, it happened and you move on, but that gets internalized, especially
And
when
this is how old when you see this?
15. Yeah, I was out there when I ain't had no business being out there. But teenager, who thinks he's grown, so make my way out there and we'll get there. But so this is 90, 91. So 91 going into my senior year, all I'm focused on is trying to get looked at, scholarship, something.
Are you still tied into it? You still holding on to sports?
Yeah. We had gangbangers on the squad. And unfortunately some of them not here today. But we did that. Elsick was the same. Madison was the same. It's just, it was starting to become a thing to do. And a lot of people thought that sports would keep us out of the streets. So for some reason, I just never had the urge to sell dope. It never appealed to me. Some days I think back, I wish it had. I might have lived a different life, but who knows? It might have ended sooner too. But standing out, because I used to stand out there with my partners, like, what's going on? Where's the money? And they like, man, they coming. Okay. So after a while, I'm finna go, man.
That was too slow for you.
Yeah. And I tried it. I tried. One of my partners turned me on the sunny side, walking up and down Mallow. Man, I'm not finna do this. I gave a sack back. So in the meantime, we just want some money, some extra money than we're getting from our parents or whatnot. Now remember, we not trying to get it out the mud. Very few are. But you know, you wanna shine a little bit. So we get this dumbass idea. Okay, we just gonna rob people.
Well, y'all already aggressors, like, you know, on that side, feeling like, well, shit, we already out here, you know what I'm saying, holding it down.
We
I mean, you have to be. That's why I'm asking. You have to have built up that confidence to say, well, shit, the next level is shit. We finna go rob somebody.
Right. See, my problem was, after I made it through something the first time, there was no way it was gonna scare me again. Some things I've seen people go through, man, I'm done. You know, whether it be getting handcuffed the first time, going to jail the first time, getting shot, whatever. Man, I'm done with it. It just never moved me like that, and I wish it did. But we out here just wilding out sometime. So when it's time to get it going, trying to get some money, well, let's try to rob. Okay. So at this time, we didn't have a pistol. One of my partners had a toy gun, but it looked real. I mean, like literally, this thing got pulled out in some situations, and I'm like, are you serious? But it did its intended purpose on getting that situation under control. So we start out running up on people, get the wallet, get the purse, whatever, and go count it up, split it up, and go blow it.
Yeah.
So I found out years later why they were so harsh on robbers. It was that because you hit a lick, that money gone. You know, it's almost as soon as you, wherever you going, it's not even accounted for no more. You on to the next one almost. So I remember the first time we hit what we thought was a big lick, because we had been getting $40, $50 here and there. But we hit for like 500, and I remember my homeboy was in the back seat, like he was counting. He just got quiet.
Y'all hit the 5 on what?
We robbed a dude coming home from work.
Oh, y'all just happened to come up that day. Gotcha.
Yeah, but because I was driving, and my partner was in the passenger seat talking, the other partner in the back seat counting it up. But then suddenly he just got quiet. So I'm like, hey man, you know what's going on? He like, man, it's $500. So we thought we hit the lottery, you know, because we never stung like that before. So now naturally, what does that do?
Yeah, now you gotta up it. Yeah.
You gotta hit a lick as much or more.
Mm-hmm.
So we literally doing this over and over. Go to school, go to practice. So we kind of figured out when these people got money, which was Fridays. Friday after whatever, we hitting the streets.
So weekly y'all out here doing this shit.
I don't know how we didn't get caught, because it's not like we were going over here and never coming back. We was going back to the same spots in the same car. No mask, no nothing. You know what I mean? I'm like, well, if it's that easy, you know, let's just do it. So somebody, who was that? Somebody wanted to rob a convenience store. And I never felt comfortable with that, because you see the news, you know, you get shot out your shoes trying to rob them. So tried it, didn't like it. Nah, So this is all during senior year. After football season was over with, I hurt my knee. So I couldn't necessarily work out the way I wanted to. So one of our partners, two of our partners got scholarships, but a lot of us got walk-on opportunities. So I had an opportunity to walk on at Alcorn State in Mississippi. Cool. Can't shake the robbery bug. So trying to get my leg together, trying to do this. Now I'm trying to get my grades together. The night we graduated we graduated at High Fines Pavilion. That night, somebody shot at one of our partners. And there was some stuff going on before then, but it never graduated to that. So instead of celebrating, trying to do what you do for your accomplishment,
Y'all boys on a hoorah.
we are looking. So here's where you start running out of bond money with your creator. We were on, I can't never remember that cross street. I know we was on Cook Road. The West Belford Cross Cook?
I don't know.
I know we was on Cook Road. So we see one of the cats we thought might have been in, at this point it really didn't matter. If you rolling with them, you finna get it. So we had a one-shot 410 in a car. So one of my partners seen him. So I was like, all right, I'm finna pull around, come back up. When I slow down, do what you do. So I bent the corner, came back up, got next to him. My homeboy hung out that window, he pulled that trigger. So fool, he fell down. Not hanging around to see what exactly happened. So we peeled on off. Now I do remember we used to go to this Whataburger. What street are we on? It's in between, there used to be a bowling alley down there that we all used to hang at, bowling alley skating rink. I'm bad with streets, but there's a Whataburger we used to always go hang at. So it's a lot of people there, just like a party. We pull up in there. Mind you, we think we just downed somebody. Who in their right mind is gonna go get something to eat after that? So we pull in the Whataburger. So we in there, shooting shit. Bunch of police pull into the parking lot. So normally that's what they do when they see a bunch of black kids out here, so not really paying them no mind. So somebody told me, like, hey man, they looking in your car kind of hard. All right, go back do what I'm doing. Somebody else like, hey man, they really looking for something in your car. Now I'm nervous. I thought my partner covered the whole, he put it under the driver's seat, and I thought he put the floor mat over the handle. Come to find out he didn't. So a couple of officers came in. They like, who's in this car out here? I just sat there. All right, we gonna arrest everybody. Whose car is it? So I just kind of glanced around. I seen some people start to turn that head a little bit. I'm like, that's me. I'm like, come on outside. We go outside. So they put the light in and the driver's side rear window. They like, what's that? I'm like, I don't know. I don't see anything. They like, don't play stupid. What is that? I don't know. They like, open the car up. My stupid. I opened the car up. So they pull it out. You don't know what this is? Now I'm just playing dumb to be playing dumb. The only smart thing I did was not tell him whose is that. So they got my driver's license. I hadn't turned 18 yet. I graduated when I was 17. So technically I'm still a minor. So they gave me two choices. Well, before we get to that, they had a gang task force out there. They had all our pictures and, I wasn't in this particular file because that our clique wasn't necessarily really active over there. So I'm almost skating by with that. So they can't identify me as a gang member. So they get my driver's license. They was like, who we need to call? Like, I gave my home phone number. So I didn't know at this time he wouldn't call, but he called my mother and told her what happened. So he came back and said, well, you got two choices. You can go to jail, or we can make sure you go home. Before he got the E out the home, I was like, take me to jail. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I ain't trying to see that with him, yeah.
No. He like, well, you can go. They were going to send me regardless, because the only thing that saved us, my homeboy missed that dude. You know, I'm just purposely leaving names out. So there was no report of a shooting anywhere in the area. That's what saved our bacon right there. So they like, you gonna get in your car, or we gonna follow you home. Mind you, I'm in Alief, but we live on West Airport. We live right in between Hillcroft and Chimney Rock by Westbury. I'm trying to drive slow. They steady hitting the lights. They're horn, hurry up. You know, man, I'm dreading this trip. Dreading it. Get to the house, I looked at them, wanted to flip them. I really wanted to do something to make them take me to jail, because I know what's on the other side of the door. So this probably a little bit after midnight. Like, man, my mother screamed at me till about almost sunrise. What could I do? That should have shook me out of it. It didn't. So we get, some rinky-dink jobs, because we know we finna go off to school in the fall. But we ain't shook the robbery bug yet. So we still out there doing our thing. So we almost got caught one time. We ran up on a dude with the toy gun. So he got the toy gun in the dude's face, and where the batteries go in and, make the sound, the hatch fell open. So when he saw that, oh man, Superman came out. So he's acting a fool out here. So he's trying to fight all three of us. It was funny to me at the time. We trying to hold him off, like, stop, just quit that. But he's really fighting for his property, and more importantly, he thought his life was on the line. So we take off. We laughed about it, but that was the start of life starting to go backwards for me. So
at no time he thinking like, man, I probably need to chill out with this shit.
The one thing about easy money, one, it never holds, and two, you always want more. Because where you don't have to ask anybody for, hey, I need some money for this, or I want, because back then Starter was real big. That was a apparel brand. So, we the hat.
Pull over starters and all that.
Yeah, we the hat generation. So all of us had 1,000 hats. So anytime we go somewhere and see a new hat, we getting it, because we used to tear Kings up. For some reason, they had the best hats. Go to Kings and drop a bunch of money in Kings. Jewelry, so now, knowing without knowing, you're just getting flyer and flyer. But you got to be putting a target on your back. So we skate through the summer. So now it's time to go to Mississippi. What they didn't tell me before I went was my transcripts weren't right. So I get all the way to Mississippi, get in a room, start practicing with the squad. Then they like, hey, you can't go this semester. What you mean I can't go this semester? I've been practicing, I'm doing all this in the third. Like, you can't attend classes, you can't participate. I don't want to tell my mother this. So I'm like, okay, cool, I'm gonna just stay. Because down there, one of my partners, another dude from Kashmir, he was not Kashmir, C. King. So we're from the big city. We're in the middle of nowhere in Mississippi. And you don't remember, certain things in life you just never forget. But back then, UGK had just kind of got started, but they were real popular, Pimp and Bun. So we used to always play that in the Ghetto Boys. And I'll never forget a dude, we were just out hanging out in the courtyard one day, and dude was like, man, is South Park in Fifth Ward, is that real? Like, what? He say, that's real, what is that? So we like trying to explain, those are the neighborhoods there, because people outside of Texas really thought South Park was a park. You know, they didn't, and once you tell them how big it is, they're like, what? Yeah. But who else we had? So we just started playing their music. So they got familiar with Harlem Clark through Big Mello. They got familiar with Fifth Ward and all that through the Ghetto Boys. Alief didn't have anybody just yet. And I don't think anybody's rapping out of Niggas Home yet. Nah. If they were, I'm not aware. So that's how we kind of described Houston to them, so they could get a picture of what was going on. We'll just fill in different things, like, you know, because back then the North and South rivalry was tough. Like, literally, we got South Side hats. We so goofy as a culture. We got the South Side hat. We'll be in the club and something goes down, but we've been into it with these cats. So we need their help, or they need our help. Because to these cats, it didn't matter. And it's so goofy. Now, we from Alief. So we from Alief, we from Southwest, and we Southsiders. We never had no issues with them boys out of Fifth Ward. So when we in the clubs out there, clearly it's not gonna end well, but they always stepped up. And you know, I'm eternally grateful, because it was some dicey situations where we got into, and a lot of times we just going to chill. But you know, just like when they came to Jamaica back then, or 9.9, they had some popular clubs that, you know, the whole city come out. But depending on where you went, it was gonna be some funk, because somebody was tripping. But like I say, them cats with Fifth Ward always had our back, whoever we was into it with. And it's crazy, the same dude you into it with, when you wind up locked up, you do the politics, you got to set all that to the side. You see, it becomes Houston
Us
now.
versus them,
Yeah.
So this is Mississippi. When do you take me to where you getting into you know, that incident that you ended up having with the bank and all that shit? Were y'all hitting banks before that? That was y'all first bank?
Okay, so this is the fall of '92. So I came back home in the winter of '92, going in '93. So now I'm not going to school, not really trying to work, but I will go somewhere, you know, just get some money coming in. It's gotten kind of hot on the streets now, so you can't just pull up anywhere, pull that pistol out, and, you know, it's accepted anymore. So I really didn't do much between January and the summer of '93. That month, we finally got knocked. Robbery went completely haywire, and strike two from on high. We're trying to rob a lady. She was having none of it, trying to yank the purse. She's fighting back just relentlessly. Okay, let's just go. So she got hit. We take off to the car. Looking back, this when I knew we were supposed to get caught. The car had never had trouble starting, pulling off, or nothing until this moment. Jump in the car, it's not starting right. It was a stick. Get in gear, it's like, God damn. So we peel on off. Normally people just accept whatever happened and go call the police. She got in her car and chased us. So this happened by Paul Revere over in that area. Man, we speeding up and down these streets, going to neighborhoods. Whoop. So my homeboy said, man, I know what to do. So he like, the next neighborhood you pull into, find somewhere to pull over, man. Because by now, I'm like, I know she got the plate. He like, don't worry about it. I got it. Pull over. I stopped. She stopped. He immediately hopped out and didn't waste no time. He pulled that trigger a few times. Nothing happened.
Damn.
This was our learning lesson on 380s. They will jam. That 380 jammed, and it did not come unjammed. So she like screamed because, she thought she was out of there. So I'm like, damn.
You ain't know he was gonna jump out there like that.
Yeah, yes I did.
You knew he was gonna do that.
Yeah, I was
morally, y'all ain't thinking none of this. Like, this is somebody T-lady. Like, y'all ain't none of this shit. Y'all, okay, this is the early 90s. Was boy, y'all was fucking with the fry? What was going on with that?
Not me. I ain't like it. I've always, because I got so many family members that got turned out on crack and whatnot. If it's any stronger than weed, I don't need it. Don't want it. I'll get to that story in a second. So that happened. Go home. The next day, police called the house, and I happened to be getting a visit from my mama's sister and her family. They were in town visiting. She used to be a prosecutor and a defense attorney, so there's no sliding anything slick by her. Like, oh man. So they called. I hung up the phone. So they kept calling. My mother like, who is that? Like, I don't know. Prank caller. So somewhere in between time, I stopped paying attention. Phone rang. I didn't get it. My mother did. She's like, why the police calling me? They talking about a robbery. Whoop, whoop. Me being Dumbo. I don't know. I was here. Because after that, everybody got dropped off and I shot straight to the house. So my auntie was like, you did it. I'm like, I ain't do nothing. They're like, they got the license plate. Whoop, whoop, whoop. So my argument was the plate had a letter and it was like I think it was a Z and a 2 next to each other. So if you're not paying real close attention, it looked like JZZ, but it was actually JZ2. I do remember that. So I'm like, no, So my auntie was like, well, how would they put it on this car then? So she hit me with, I ain't stupid. I'm trying to help you, but you got to tell me. I'm being, man, I don't. And she's all right. Okay. So they literally sat on the house for a few days. Like, you look out the window, they got a cruiser out there, they got an unmarked out there. So I'm literally like just walking to the store and back. Like, man, this is crazy. My mother got fed up. She said, I done had enough of this. Took me to the West Side Command Station. Right up there on Dairy Ashford. I'm like, what are we doing? She said, I'm not finna do this with you. Do what? She said, you know what you did. I'm like, all right. They booked me. I'm like, oh, man. This is my first time in a Houston city jail. I'm like, damn. So they come, they talk to me. I don't have no conversation for you. So go to the county. Now, 20 to Life had made a song back then, a rap group called 20 to Life.
Serving a deuce?
That's one of them. They made 10B3.
Yeah. Gladiator Unit. Yeah.
I knew about 10B3 through the song. And, I had some homeboys have been through there, and you thinking like, damn, I'm gonna go through that. Guess what? They sent me to 10B3. Man, I walked through
it was what you heard it was.
What? Man, on 10, man, them dudes wild up in there. And for some reason, where no weapons involved, size does matter. I had a little heft on me. I was working out. So I didn't go in there roaring or nothing, because I didn't know nobody in there. So I already knew about the shoe game. You know, I've been versed on, what happens if you go to jail. So I knew about the shoe game, how to sleep and all this, that, and the third. But man, they were squabbling when I got in there. They fighting all day, all night, till it was my turn. And I got mopped the first time. I'm like, mind my shoes. But you're not getting these shoes. We don't want to pack me up out of here, but the shoes are staying. So really dudes just want to see if you're going to fight. So really, once that's established, you pretty much chill. Most of the dudes that's in there fighting all the time, they're doing it for the sport. So I only stayed a week, but it's like a lifetime. Till my mother finally got tired of me calling, like, hey, you come to get me? You come to get me? You come to get me? You come to get me out? You come to get me. You would think that would have taught me a lesson. Nope. I met this chick who became my girlfriend at the time. Her people was robbing the banks. So now, remember, this is a step up from what we've been doing. This is the big money. So I got cool with them. And you want to try? You want to get out? Like, So I was going to Prairie View in the fall. Go to Prairie View, nothing exciting happens there. I made it the whole year. I went to fall and spring. Came back home. No job. It gets introduced again. Hey, you want to try to hit these licks? Yes. But let me see how it goes first. So I see. So things is going good here and there. Now you don't really have to be out here all the time. You know what I'm saying? You hit a nice lick, you good for a time or two. Because we didn't know what to do with the money, so we did what most teenagers did. We went and towed them all down. So my mother kind of got on to me. My homeboy bought a Lexus, because in '94, that foreign car was a big thing in Houston. So I pulled up one day. I just wanted to run in and grab something and leave, because I didn't put it in her face. But whatever I needed to go home and get it. So she's like, whose car is it? I told her it's my partner's uncle. Some dumbass lie. So she's like, well, where'd he get it from? I don't know, he hit lottery or something. Feeling myself. But I got big jewelry, new clothes, all that. She like, okay. My mother wasn't stupid. So we burn off. So now, at this time, you got our group. There was a group in South Park, Hidden Banks.
Yeah, my boy Brock and them, 3-4.
Yeah, that's my 5 partner cousin. We same group. Brock and Pop, same group. Yeah.
You fuck with them?
No. I'll tell you why over there.
Oh, man, okay.
But that's my Brock and Pop is my 5 partner's first cousin.
No shit.
Yeah. So, but that's not even. This is all this family, for lack of a better term. It was some other cats in South Park, Hidden Banks too. And then boys in Fifth Ward was Hidden Banks and jewelry stores. So the city is on fire right now. So what got us knocked was, and I didn't tell in this other video, but the weekend of my birthday, they got me a party at a hotel and whatnot. So for some reason, you know what a green sheet is?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
From the newspaper.
Yeah. The green sheet had like a wanted picture in it, and I just kind of glanced at it, and at first glance, I'm like, damn, what would become my future 5 partner? Like, damn, that's him. So I just kind of grabbed it and folded up. So we go back to the room, go back to party and whatnot. So I'm like, hey man, let me holler at you for a minute. So I pull it out like, that's you. So he just started laughing. He's like, they didn't have a good view. But you know, you can tell.
I mean, you know, and then you're like, nigga,
Yeah, I read. You know, this is the crime. Whoop de whoop, and there's the picture. Like,
nigga, this you.
yeah, he knew it was him. That's why he ain't tripped. So, this is the weekend before everything went down. So, the planning stages always was go case the spot out, get a getaway ride, make sure everything's cool with the whoop. So, as time got close, things not kind of going right for me. My girlfriend is like, you need to chill, you know, just don't do it, whoop de whoop. Because I really did tell her, man, this is my last go around. You know, it was just too much going on. Streets is hot. Just, it's time to do something else. So the night before, we needed a getaway car. So we rolled all over Alief. Just didn't find the proper lick. So somewhere between 11 and midnight, we on Highway 6. It was a dude in a Whataburger. So he like, I'm gonna get him. All right, go ahead. He run up on the dude, draw down on him. Most people would just get out the way and turn it over. This dude fought back, threw the keys out the window, and wound up shot in the face. So we got to get up out of there. Now, at this time, Alief's not built up like it is now. So, it's, you know, you can bend a few corners and just get away from almost anything. So I knew where to go, so we just shoot up out of there. But we still need a ride for the morning. So we wind up back in the area of where I grew up in. I know we're on West Belford and Kirkwood now. So there was a gas station on that corner across from these apartments. So there was a dude in a Jeep, a Cherokee. He's pumping his gas. I'm really tired right now. I'm trying to get off the street. I'm ready to stop. So like, all right, let's get him. So he gave it up easy. We rolled up on him, drew down, you know, shoot off, went and parked it. We stashed it at where Sharpstown Mall used to be. There used to be a Holiday Inn across the freeway. We just parked over there. So go back to the spot, lay down. So I had a routine, morning time routine. I had to have grape soda and cigarette. We woke up late because we knew we had to get in traffic because where the bank was at. So now we're behind time. I'm jonesing. We get on the road. I thought I was going to make it cool. Pull over. Stop at the next store you see. Hopped out and went and got the soda, got the cigarettes. And got stuck in traffic. We supposed to be there at the door.
I was going to say, like, bank robberies, that shit is a time thing, from my understanding.
It is. It don't take long. I mean, we didn't do drawers. You see what I'm saying? That's the dangerous part. Anything can happen in that drawer. That's where the alarms are. I'll fill in that blank for you in a second. So, we get stuck in traffic. We're late when we get there. So, I'll leave that on that cliff right there. We're late getting there. How we learn to do this, my father partner's Pop passed the game along. I didn't know how to do it. So I'm here and I'm like, really? What? That for real? It's easier than a lot of people think, but don't take that as something to do because it's dangerous. But the people that are employed at the bank are pretty much instructed that if the situation warrants itself, just do what they say, give them what you want. We had scanners, so that was the hedge on them hitting the silent alarm. They hit the silent alarm, we're gonna know. So nobody wants to, you go in there, give your spiel. Hey, lay down, y'all know what it is. Whoop. We got this here, so anybody hits a silent alarm, we're gonna know, and then who knows what's gonna happen after that. So, in a nutshell, that's how we got taught to do it. It's more than a smash and grab. It's organized. We was in there 3 minutes and out. So by the time they do respond, we in a win. So this particular day, we're late, get to the bank. So I had a mask like a beanie. So when I pulled into the bank, there was a car, like literally from me to you. So I'm in the driver's seat, you in your driver's seat. So when we pulled up, I looked over, he looked up, and I'm literally doing like this here. I know there's not enough time for you. Whatever you're going to do, by the time it's situated, we're going to be gone. So we made eye contact, literally. At this point, I didn't care. We go in, wave the gun, do the hollering, get down, do this, that, and third. My boy took off to his assigned destination to doing his thing. So I'm in there. It's an old lady right in front of me. She's just standing there. At first, I'm kind of forceful, I'm aggressive, like, lay down, get on the floor. Woo. So I didn't notice off the top, she's shaking like a leaf. Ma'am, will you lay down, please? So she literally said, I can't. So that threw me for a loop. I can't. I didn't know she went into shock. I can't have everybody laying down and you standing up. It's just doesn't work like that. She's like, I can't lay down. I said, I'll tell you what, I'm going to help you down. And she did. And that screwed up the people in court down the road, get to that. But they couldn't believe I did it. I didn't hurt her. I just needed you on the floor. So, close to time to go, the scanner starts going crazy. My initial thought was somebody did hit a silent alarm. But I caught myself, okay, it would have went off sooner. So this was an outside call. So I hollered at my boy, like, hey, we got to go. They coming. So he come up out of there. We bail out of there. And, like, the door faces part of the parking lot. We were on the side. So when I went out the door, I just saw a lot of people standing outside. Then I glanced over where we parked. He was in a van. He ran his van into the Jeep. And he hit it so hard. I don't know, I didn't, because I wasn't focused on what's going on outside. But he hit it so hard, a motor block came loose. You could see where he crunched it up. You could see like the engine block leaning over.
So y'all ain't getting out of there, not in that car.
Not in that one. So we had another ride waiting on us just over the fence.
Was this some just in case if we can't then be waiting, or what was it?
No, that was the getaway.
Oh, that was a part of the plan.
Mm-hmm. He never got caught. You see. So I'm gonna tell you why in a second. When I see the people, I see the ride. For a flash, I almost dumped on them because I was just that mad, but I didn't. And that same flash distracted me from, dummy, all you gotta do is jump the fence. We're focused on getting in a vehicle and leaving.
So you forgot your boy waiting on you.
Because he was looking around trying to see, he like, man, the van's still running. Okay, cool. Hop in the van, pull out. We don't have to go literally out of the parking lot.
The van that's still running, this is the guy's van.
This I can't pronounce his name, so I never attribute his name to it. He got a foreign name that it's something similar to Battaglia, but that's not it. So
but the guy who saw you do the thing.
Yeah. He's resting in peace now. So we just got to go out the parking lot, go down maybe a quarter mile and get in apartments to get in. You see what I'm saying? On the way out, I saw a cruiser coming from the opposite direction. He had to turn left. There were some cars in front of him. I'm like, oh, shit, we got this. So I'm going out. He gets hitting the lights. He's hitting the horn. The person in the front didn't catch on quite what was going on. Me and my father partner, we joked through the years when we got on unit together, like, man, the second car is really what got us knocked. Because once they started hitting the horn and doing all that, it got the first car's attention, so they pulled off in traffic. So let the police cars through. I did leave something out though. When the scanner went off, there was another bank across the street. They said that bank. And I'm like, this can't be happening. So I left that out. My bad. So we get in an apartment complex. Now I think I can drive. Back then, I've been through plenty of tight corner turns, whoop to whoop. So I'm driving through there, I can't shake him. And at the same time, our other ride is getting close. So I'm steady looking in the mirror, looking back. He's on my tail. I don't want to get my partner knocked, so I just burned past him. And the last time I seen him was when the police car passed him, he just pulled out and went the other way. So on the way out the apartment complex, I distinctly remember telling this man, let off a couple shots in the air to slow him down, let me shake him. I got to focus on the road. But when I do look back over, this fool's hanging out the window, dumping on the folks. I'm like, oh, wow. Well, we in it now. So we driving. He shooting. They starting to return it. And for people who never been through bullets wheezing by your ears and your head and stuff, and them hitting stuff around you, different experience. I'm like, damn. So now my whole focus is getting away. So we were, I don't know what street we're on, but we got to the Beltway. I remember turning right, rode the feeder a little bit, because now it's a bunch of them. So back then the Beltway wasn't finished yet. So it was only so far you could go anyway. So I got on the main Beltway, so they tried to box me in that diamond formation thing. Unfortunately, I was familiar with that. I've seen that a few times. So, one in the front, two on the side, one in the rear. I was just moving. They couldn't do it, but they still shooting. So he can pop off a few here and there, but he got a duck, because they really lighten us up. So I went a couple blocks. I got off, tried to lose them in the U. Got a couple of them, didn't get the one behind me off me. So we shooting down the Beltway, getting close to Hammerley. Do remember that? That's where it happened. So the helicopter wasn't out yet, because anybody been in the street know once the bird is out,
it's a wrap.
It's over with. No getting away. It wasn't out yet. But there was a tanker truck in the intersection because they had slowed traffic down right there. So the rear of the tanker was like in the street, like right here. So my thought was I can get around and get in, and hopefully the car behind the truck will get in the way, and then we'll just, whatever happens, happens. Didn't happen that way. I got around it. They stopped, so they kept coming. So now they are really, really dumping, because I'm like driving, because if I sit, I don't want to get my head blown off. So we go up a little bit. I fouled on it. I didn't notice one pulled up to the side of him and started shooting. So he got shot right here. So it went through his arm, and his rib cage stopped it from going all the way in. So he kind of just like sat back. So I'm like, hey, you all right? So he wasn't saying anything. So I kind of sat myself up a little bit and just boom, hit him in the chest. So he's like, ugh. He like, man, I'm shot. Right at the time he said I'm shot, I heard the back tire get shot out. Now I know it's over with. So we're going slower and slower. I'm looking at him. I'm seeing the blood coming out. I told him, I'm like, fool, we caught. He's like, don't stop, don't stop. We're caught, man. We're not going. He's like, don't stop. I'm like, all right. So I really just literally took my foot off the accelerator, heard another tire go out. So we'll just glide to a stop then. So we were joking before I came home. I told him I didn't stop. You know what I'm saying? So
at this time, are you thinking like, man, my life is fucking over?
yeah, now because when the van stopped, they ain't stopped shooting. I had pull him down. I'm ducked down. You know,
They still just.
Yeah, they dumping. Man, that van looked like Swiss cheese. When I saw it, I'm like, ooh. So when they finally stopped shooting, I just sat there just like this. So a policeman came up to the driver's side. Get out of the car, using foul language. Get out of the car, get out of the car. I looked at him. I said, open the door. So now he's like, what? I said, open the door. I said, I'm not reaching for anything. I said, the pistol I had was right there. I'm not reaching. Open the door and I'm going to fall out. So he's hollering and screaming, get out of the car, I'm going to blow your head off, woo, woo. In my mind, I'm like, damn, I hope he don't shoot. I'm like, I'm not reaching for the door, man. It's not going to happen. Y'all can drag me out. I don't care. But I'm not reaching for anything. My hands are going to be right here. Whatever's going to happen, my hands are going to be up. So he's like, all right, I'm opening this door. You make any funny move and blow your head out. Open the door, man. So he opened the door. I fell out. They yanked my foul partner out. They didn't know he was shot the way he was. So when they grabbed his arm, he hollered, ah. So he got him on the ground. So I'm laying on the ground, looking under the van on the other side. They stomping him. One got his arm, he's hollering, because now they see his arm is really hurt. So they just going through what they did back then. They stomp you out. So now I'm preparing myself in my mind. These boots is coming, and they came. So I'm laying there. So somebody came, they put my right arm behind me. So I put my other arm behind me, but the cuff never clicked. So So I put my arm back out. I left that one back there. So I heard somebody walking up behind me. But the way I looked back, the sun was like in my face and behind the officer. So he walked up and he's like, I'm going to kill you, nigga. So he shot. So I guess my adrenaline was flowing so much. The damage was, it went through my jaw, my tongue, and it came out my mouth, right? I didn't feel it shatter my jaw or my teeth. I felt it go through my tongue, but I thought I just bit my tongue because I'm thinking, well, shit, he shot me in the head, I wouldn't be here, or part of it would be gone. So I thought I just bit my tongue. So I don't know if time is irrelevant now. So somewhere along the way, they did come handcuff me, so I'm laying down. I got my forehead on the ground. All I feel is my tongue is just killing me. But I'm looking at this pool of blood just getting bigger and bigger. I'm like, shit. So they rolled me over, and then all the blood and bone and whatnot ran into my lungs and whatnot. Then somebody like, oh, he shot. You didn't hear the gunshot? Y'all didn't hear that? You see what I'm saying? So I just got to skip forward to get his context. When we went to court, they tried to say I got shot in the van. Good old forensic said no, because the way my wound is, it would have went like that. It went like that. So that was somebody standing over you. It was a downward shot. But we'll get to that. So I'm laying there, and I didn't pass out at any moment. You know, I'm awake for all this. I understand what's happening. Something's wrong. So they like, he shot, get the EMTs. So they load us up, get us in the ambulance. So they have something for the respirator they have to clear your lungs with. So it's like a plunger. They put it in, and they got to pull back. So the paramedic was like, don't you get any blood on me? He's cussing now. He's going off. Don't get no blood on me. I can't talk. So I'm just really just looking at him. So when he pulled it, everything that was in there, like faced all right here. So he get mad. He start beating on my chest. Boom, boom, boom. My 5-point holler, man, stop. Yeah, you're supposed to be a paramedic. So at this time, like I was laying, because they didn't have me cuffed. So my hand fell off, like onto the floor. And the policeman was riding with us, had some ropers on. Man, that man put that heel on my hand. I felt that. He literally was grinding my hand. I can't scream, but I know I started crying. That hurt. That hurt worse than getting shot. I'm like, what is he thinking? What is he doing to my hand? So I can't turn my head, but he crushed my hand pretty good. A 5-point, he going off. So we finally get the bin top. Fortunately, the nurse that came out first, she knew something. She could just sense something wasn't right in his ambulance. She's like, I got it from here. So she came, some more nurses came, they wheeled me in. So she said, you need me to get in touch with somebody. What we all do when we get in trouble. I can't talk now. So she had to go get a pen and paper. So I wrote, Mom wrote the number. So time go on, I'm hoping this is almost over with. I didn't know I was in such bad shape because I swallowed a bunch of blood and I inhaled it. So they got and there's bone fragments in my lungs. So they come, all they can do is tell me what they're going to do and like shake your head this way or that way, yes or no. So they got to give me a CAT scan. And people put me in that tube. At that moment, I wish I'd have died then, because now I'm starting to feel this pain. I can't move. I'm scared. You know, the MRI, it's a magnet. So while it vibrates real hard. So like every time that thing pulsed, man, it's just like getting shot over again. So they bring me out. So finally, somebody had the wherewithal to say, hey, you need, what's your 1 to 10, what's the pain? So I wrote 10 on there. So they like, okay, we're going to give you some pain medicine. They gave me morphine. I couldn't tell them I'm allergic to morphine. So I blew up like a balloon. They like, oh, he's allergic. So they gave me some other stuff. So I fell asleep. So this was on the 27th. So I woke up on the 29th with the investigators there. I'm glad I had enough. I couldn't talk. My jaw was wired shut. So they read my Miranda rights, you know, started asking 1,000 questions about some other stuff. I just shook my head. They like, you don't want to answer, you don't know. So I pointed at the pen and pad. I wrote, I'm not an investigator on it. So that didn't sit well with them. So I stayed in the hospital about a week. They let my mom come visit. And she told me, she's like, man, I saw on the news, I didn't know it was you until they showed you laying on it. And you were laying face down, handcuffed. But I knew that was you. I'm like, how? Because, you know, I could kind of spit those kind of words out with my jaw. How? But she like, you know, mama know her baby. All right. So stay in the hospital for a few days. They take me to jail. They wore my ass out when I got to jail. You know, every bit of payback they wanted from that, they got it. My whole thing was I got to protect this out of my face at all costs. So in booking They jumped me. After booking, I fought again. Finally, there's a part of jail where they can send you to where there's no phones, there's no nothing. It's just transit. It's like when they're shipping you somewhere, they'll send you down there to wait for the bus to come get you. But they just shot me down there. I just want my pain meds. You know, I don't care what happened now. Just bring me my medicine. So however long I stayed down there, there's no clocks. There's nothing down there but concrete slabs and glass, the window. So, man, I go to the second floor in Harris County, which is the hospital floor. That was cool, laid back. But my first thought was, don't send me back 10B3. They had something better. They had the fifth floor. I didn't know the fifth floor was just as bad as the 10th floor was at this time. So after a few weeks on the second floor, they sent me upstairs to 5B1. Get up there and, you know, I know some folks. In this particular tank, everybody got a high profile case, from capital murder on down to the penal code. So wind up meeting some cats from Acres Home that went to Aldine, and we played against them. So I knew them. They like, for some reason, when you get to jail and you've been on the news, everybody like kind of fascinated. Plus, you don't meet too many bank robbers, period. So get in there, man. See things that normal people shouldn't see. You know, it's just it's vile and violent. So we start going to court. They don't have their facts together. So this was in October, November. So we started going to court. I remember during one hearing, you can tell by the way I talk, I don't talk like I'm from the hood. My lawyer just asked the question just out of jest, really. Hey, was one of the clients white or black? And one of the witnesses thought I was white. So he locked in on that. This was going to be a problem for their case the whole way through. We going to lock in on that. And they couldn't identify my file partner. He has a striking resemblance to his cousin. Like, if they weren't cousins, they could have told people they were twins. They had an identifier problem. My only issue was I got shot in the face, you got shot in the arm, so we can't just claim actual innocence. But this other stuff that y'all trying to put together, they literally tried to clear their caseload on us. So I think in March or February, these other damn fools that you know, they got knocked. So mind you, it's a bank robbery case, so we have state charges and we have federal charges. The feds was like, we got you. We've been watching the big whites. We got it. Okay, I know I'm in trouble. I'm on probation anyway. There's really nothing I can do. So these fools get caught, and now they start putting two and two together. Other people's names start coming up. People getting arrested. Fuck. Okay. So the FBI come one day. They pull us out. It's the FBI, the DA, my lawyer, my mother. We in the room. They slid basically a contract. If you testify against such and such, such and such, you can go home. So I read it. Turned and looked at my mother and my lawyer. I'm like, I'm not doing that. Slid it back. So they said, well, the government is withdrawing the charges. So my lawyer was like, why? He's going to get infinitely more time in the state than he would in the federal, because there's a point system that applies, you know, when you get tied up in the feds, you know, first offender, they can only max you out at a certain amount of time. Okay. So at this point, we all thought we were going to the feds. We weren't necessarily privy to 5 to 99 life. Shit.
That's a whole different type of time now.
What? Now, mind you, we're not aware that the law changed neither. My probation was under the quarter law. This happened right after that the half law took effect. So we go to court. These dudes, man, making existing on this case kind of hard because things not going right. They steady calling me and my father partner, asking question after question. Who's this? Who's this? Like I say, him and my cousin have a physical striking resemblance. My thing was, I'm not here to help you solve your case. I can't help you. There's nothing I can do for you. I'm not going to help you. All right. So we went to, the judge pulled us in the chamber one day. And we were on a tank with a dude who had 27 counts of aggravated sexual assault. He was in our court. So he went to court one day and came back happier than people should be happy about getting, signing for time or whatever. So he signed for 40 years. I'm like, what? Man. All right. So we in the chambers. The judge is like, Mathews, you're getting life sentence. You're doing this. You've done that. I said, ma'am, I ain't gonna say his name. You let the old guy sign for 40 years. I said, this man was raping mothers in front of their kids at gunpoint and knife point. So what makes me more of a monster than him? I wouldn't want to be around him if we wasn't in jail. So she looked at me kind of crazy. Because she didn't know we were on the tank. She said, how'd you know it? He's on the tank with us. We're all in this court. So she's like, you robbing and this and that. So this is when I noticed the shift went from the hell with the bank robberies. Y'all shooting with police. Y'all tried to harm the police. This is when I first learned that society deifies the police. She couldn't let that go. We go to another hearing. Witnesses weren't telling the right stories. File partner turned the table over. They tied him up pretty good. I'm like, why did you do that? We didn't have to say anything. They're lying. All right. So in October 95, he was going to go to trial first than I was. At this point, I didn't care. I knew I was up shit creek. Man, he went in there and acted. He was upset because the evidence against him was all wrong. He wasn't trying to hear it. They maxed him out.
Wait, how much time he got?
He got 99.
You still in there?
Yeah. I talked to him a few weeks ago. You all know.
He got the 99 because he was the shooter? Or because of the way he acted in court?
He's out on bond on another case. Okay. Shooting and that. We had a vindictive judge. You ask people in who either sitting on the bench or worked with her, she was different. She maxed him out. So when it was my time to go, because that's a gut shot. Like, you hear 99 years, then you experience it something different. Personally, I'd rather you say life than 99. Just feels different, and I learned that from meeting dudes like that. So when it's my time to go to court, I was in the holding tank. My lawyer and his lawyer came in there. It's like, hey, they're offering 40 because all this time they're offering obscene numbers like 85, 75. I'm not signing. Are you crazy? Why would I sign for that? That's I'm not doing that.
Yeah, I take my chances on 75 years. Fuck that. Yeah.
I'm not signing for nothing anywhere near that. I didn't know that there were appealable things in the case that they wanted to avoid. So they came from all the way at 85, 75, all that, to 40. Before I could really think clearly about it, they like, man, you better take it. And I had been hearing dudes like, try to work them down a little bit more. They was like, man, take the 40, take the 40. And my lawyer said, you'll be home in 10. That sounded about right. Stanley was like, maybe 12. My antenna should have went up then. So 10, 12, I can do that. So I'm like, y'all sure? 10, 12, somewhere like that. Like, yeah. They weren't even aware that the law changed. And when I was on the other show, she's a lawyer. She informed me they should have known that. I wouldn't have, if I knew I had to do, okay, so I wound up signing for 40 years. Get back to the holding tank, dudes in there like, what happened with like I signed for 40. I'm like, what? I say, man, they say I'll be on 10. One dude, it's always that one. Hey, homie, you got to do half of that. Like, what? As soon as we got back upstairs, I zoomed the phone. Who'd I call? Mom. Hey, look. They said I got to do half of this. That's not what he told either one of us. She hung up on me and called him. It was like, you told my son he was going to be home in 10 or 12 years. He's saying he has to do 20 years before he's even eligible for parole. Whoop. He came up there the next day. I wasn't aware that the law changed.
Ooh, no, sir.
If I could have got through that glass.
Say, man, nah, you can't be playing like that.
At this point, what's done is done. So, I got 40 years. It was all these cases, but they ran them concurrent. They almost slid that consecutive in on me. He did catch that part. I wouldn't be sitting here if that would have went down. But it's crazy knowing that no matter what you do, what's going to happen, you got to sit down for 20 years flat. So by now I kind of got my strength up in jail.
So at this point, you got it in your mind, shit, if I'm finna go in here and do this 20, I'm finna do this 20.
But dudes come back from penitentiary, you get the stories and this, that, and the third, where you don't want to go, where you do want to go. Okay, you're not worried about that. You just got to get in there. Anybody tell you they went to prison the first time wasn't scared, lying. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I would imagine so. You going into the unknown, bro.
I've heard that lie many times, but I know I was terrified because you can't fathom what, just like you said, what you don't know.
You can imagine, like even me, I can imagine how rough it probably is in there. But when you get in there, it's complete, or whatever the experience is, or whatever. I can only imagine that shit.
It is and it isn't. So, like, back then, we went to what's called the Holiday Unit, the transfer facility. So, when we got off the bus, there was a rec yard, the recreational area, right there where you get off the bus. And these dudes yelling, new boots, new boots. What is that? I didn't find out till later, new arrivals, they call them new boots. So now I'm really going through it in my head, like, damn. So you running all these scenarios through your mind. The only people you know at this moment are the dudes you're in the county with. So you kind of get split up. So now you get put in these pods with dudes from Dallas, San Antonio, wherever. So the dudes who had been through it before, they was chilling. But the rest of us was like, hey, what happens if this happened? What's going on here? It's just intense. Man, when I tell you, see, this is where it gets graphic. When they de-lice you, that's so dehumanizing, man.
You say de-lice?
De-lice.
What you mean?
They get you all the way naked, and they spray you. Well, first they cut all your hair off. So They cut all your hair off, you naked, and they spray what's called delicing on you. And the shit is hot. You see what I'm saying? It's like a fog, but it's hitting you real hard.
Is that supposed to be punishment, or what is this purpose
No,
of this?
like they don't want nobody coming in with lice or crabs instead of kills.
D-light, so it really, got you.
Yeah. So that was, besides we used to getting strip search from jail, but that was the first time I felt less than. Like, was this necessary?
Some animal shit, yeah.
So we had to stay in that part of Holiday for however long. So we didn't immediately get assigned. So they sent us down to a building, I think it was B, something. Oh man, it's rowdy in there. Once again, all day, all night, they squabbling. Has
your mouth already healed up and all that by that time?
It healed up enough because they put a plate in there, so I can take a punch. So it's not gonna. I don't have to worry about getting hit on the left side and get my jaw broke. Right side, who knows? But I knew I was good right here. So I saw a different element of violence. And I was violent in the county jail, but now you in here with some seasoned vets.
You some warriors now, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm young, so we're all young for the most part. So now everybody's just youngster. It's amazing that somebody could say youngster, you just hear the voice and you knew who they talking to. It's like at first it'd be like 4 dudes turn around, and then if the old boy over there like youngster, so you know who that voice is. Yeah, he talking to you. Okay, whatever. But it's just, and I've never been. It's so hot in there because we went in October, so we went through the winter. But man, when summer hit, and that's when they had a whole squad over there, which is working in the fields. So medically, I couldn't do that. They put me in the kitchen, but I used to see them dudes going out and wonder why. Some dude came back busted up, whatever. What's going on out there? So as time goes on, that's how they worked you so hard. That's how you took your break. You fought to take a break. You're not, if you the one fighting, you ain't getting the rest. But everybody else is kind of like, however long the laws let this go on, that's how we gonna get this breather. So it was a lot of, somebody felt like you had a problem with him. Somebody gonna be egging it on. Hey, he missed this cut over there. Cause back then they were anal about that shit. They wanted that grass laid down a certain way, and if somebody was tripping, that was means for retribution. So, like, damn.
When did you get in there and start turning up and like really, like you say, what I'm saying? We was talking to boy Jado earlier and he called you Kingpin. When did you get into that mode of like, all right, I'm here now, shit, this is where I'm gonna be. Let's turn this shit up.
Clemens, burning hell.
How many years are you in at that point?
2. That was the first unit. But getting assigned to Clemens, we had been hearing about where you didn't want to go. Nobody wanted to go to a particular unit. At this time, the top of that list was Clemens. It was called Burning Hill. Clemens, Old Terrell, Ferguson, Beto, Darrington, Michael and French Robinson. So these, but the ones that people were kind of really, really scared of going to was Terrell and Ferguson and Clemens. You don't have a choice, but it just so happened a group of us got assigned, and we had been kicking it for almost a year. So we cool. All right, we going over here. We going to rock out. Man, they call it Burning Hell for a reason. When we got there, they just had a race ride. The dude out of Galveston got killed. So the unit was on lockdown. So we get there, now they put me in the fields. So now while I'm in the fields for this brief period of time, I see all the contraband, weed, cigarettes and all that. This is where it's coming in at. And sometimes you accidentally play a part in, it's like youngster, go grab that. You know, not by now, you don't ask no questions. You know, if somebody respected you, you know, all right.
So they say go grab that. Y'all in the field. If you had to paint the picture,
We in the field, we working, but there's a package that got thrown in, dropped. What's called a drop. It got dropped over there. So if the trustee can't go over there and get it, and you working in that area, you have to go grab that right there. So you know, you just work your way over there, look. As soon as the law ain't looking. So at this point, okay, you know, like I say, you know not to ask questions. You know, what is this? You know,
but it's something. You know, it's something.
It's really a stupid move, but you have to follow the rules in there. You see what I'm saying? So the trustee like talk to his people like, where is it? Okay, here it is. Okay, cool. We go in. Somebody come to the door. At this time, I wasn't smoking cigarettes anymore. Pack square.
Okay. So that was your payment. I was gonna ask you if you got, what was your payment?
That was a payment. I got pack square. You know what I'm saying? At this time, to this day, I've never figured out how to properly roll a cigarette. You know what I'm saying? So I'm fumbling with it. It's fat in the middle, you know, whatever. But I got squares now. At this time, a cigarette goes for $1 and a joint go for $3 back then. Regular money like this there. So, remember, I'm still new, so I still got to feel these fools out, because jacking is a thing back then, too. So, you know Face Mob, right?
Mm-hmm.
He was over there with us.
You talking about Smith?
Smith D,
Yeah,
Roger Smith.
yeah.
He was on the tier with us, and we were cool. You know, we used to get high, and he'd just go rapping all night. I used to go in there and just get high and go to a concert. So we do that. So now that was my.
When you blowing, I always wonder about this in there. How do you disguise smoking in prison, or you just if somebody find up a cigarette, or is it sectioned off enough to where you can get away with that shit like that?
There's variables, like certain laws work. It's just a no-go. Period. Point blank. Don't even light it. Others who don't really care, you sit there and smoke. Or other times, the ones who kind of cared but wasn't just gonna go out their way, you might blow it there's a vent, blow it in there with some baby powder. But on the dorms, you gotta get kind of creative. Go to the window. They had a thing that sucked the smoke out. But a lot of times when we knew who was working, so we'll all mob up in somebody's cell.
All right, it's cool now.
Yeah. But at this time, all my friends are in one gang or another, and I already know that, you know, trying to walk the straight and narrow, that's not gonna work. So mind you, I came up with a lot of these dudes. Oh man, come on, all right. So that's what we do. So you got to go through that damn ringer. Heart checks, Freaky Friday, whatever.
Freaky Friday, what is that?
Friday nights in the day room, just basically a free for all. You know, I call you out, you call me out, he call him out, whatever. But you had to be present for these things. It just wasn't. It didn't pay to stay in the cell. You know what I'm saying? Your only out was if you went direct. You know, a lot of dudes went direct, but it went down out there too. But for the most part, you knew what it was on Friday nights. You know what I'm saying? So you might as well just go on down there and get out whether you wanted to or not, because you don't want to be. Last thing you want is people to think you weak or you a punk, you a hoe, whatever. You see what I'm saying? And it's not about the win or the loss. It's that you had the heart, because dudes really did have in their mind that it's all hands on deck against these other races, these city shit. You know what I'm saying? So dudes really want to see is you gonna get out there. You know what I'm saying? So of course you get mopped the first few times, because these dudes been doing this shit for years, and you know what I'm saying? You don't have the stamina or the.
They be prepared for prison battle. It is what it is.
They technically sound what they. You know what I'm saying? They pinpoint accurate. You know what I'm saying? So go through that. So I just got hooked on, if I want to support my habit, I need to have it. So you start meeting people. Hey, look, I can get the money. I need this, that, and the third. So, like anybody else, start small, move up, move up. Then I got this stupid ass shit tattooed on my stomach. You know what I'm saying?
So were you already up when you did that, or this was like you professing like, shit, I'm finna run this shit?
I was professing it, that kind of bled into it. Now, no means was I big time in there, and I met some of them. But I did enough to where, I made some money.
What is that in prison? What does that look like to be up on that type of shit? Because I've had partners of mine tell me, like, from the outside, from the inside, like when you moving in there.
The term, you can be rich or pen rich. And pen rich is like if you got a bunch of commissary, a bunch of food. If you rich, you got cash. And cash literally will move a mountain in there. Because one of my partners told me early on, he's like, man, don't never get nothing to do with your cash. Cash is power. You can get anything you want with this cash. You see what I'm saying? You give your cash away, you give your money away. Only one supposed to get the cash is who you dealing with.
So when you're in prison, what do you have cash for?
You transacting drugs or whatever, gambling.
No, I'm saying that's still underground shit. There's no use for cash. Like you can't.
Man, they will air you. Man, if you get caught with a penny that a law dropped in the hallway, they're gonna charge you. Might as well got caught with 100. No money. You see what I'm saying? So you get a couple $100 here and there, a couple $100 here and there. You either gonna stack it up and keep stacking and buy you something, or you're just gonna mess it off one way or the other. But you got to keep it moving, because they'll come search at any time, and then you get knocked. So that's the last thing you want. You rather accidentally lose it than for them to take it. You see what I'm saying? Part of the game. So at this time, I wanted to go to the bar, take the barber trade. I went to talk to the counselor. They like, you can't take that trade. I'm like, why? You got a diploma. So what? What's that mean? At that time, Wyndham didn't allow high school graduates to take their trades. I'm like, well, what can I do? She's like, well, you can go to college. Okay, where is that? I never heard of Styles in Beaumont. I heard of the Wind unit. Knew I didn't want to go there. So, I'm like, well, Beaumont's not that far from Houston. My mom still comes visit me. So, they signed me up for school. And I wasn't sophisticated enough to pack my little contraband with me at the time, so I gave it to one of my partners and wished him well. Get to Styles in 1997. It's a prison within walls, but without walls, if that makes sense. People who've been there know that you could do almost anything you want to do on that unit.
This is where the women at and all that.
This is where it was wide open back then. It seemed like it was escape every few months. Dudes was leaving. He shut the unit down, go catch him, bring him back, move along. But now I'm around an older group, because Clemens is basically a young unit. Now I'm meeting dudes who've been locked up since the 70s, the 60s. I'm like, what?
They much more calmer, you know?
Some. But they show you how to do time the right way. Because the saying back then, you inmating or you convicting. So you wanted to be in the convicting card. You inmating, you just crash dummy in and all kinds of dumb shit. So everything over here is different. The game is different, because this is a gigantic unit. There's over 3,000 people on that unit. So you can't just pull up and, do your thing. They're going to try you quick. So you're going to get tested in other ways regardless, because you're new to the unit. So you pull up, peep the landscape. do my little fighting and whatnot. Get in school. So now I'm trying to see what's going on. So I see who's selling what, who's doing this. So I just buy a couple squares here and there, buy a couple joints here and there. So this is where I see the gangs ran the show over there. You see what I'm saying? You're not just gonna pop up out of nowhere and or just be a regular, not in a sense because that's what you want to be on the unit. You want to be what's called a regular. But you're not just gonna be like a neutral person that's gonna be doing that, and the third, because you gotta have somebody watching your back at all times. So it took me a long time to, get into that mode over there because dudes wasn't playing over there. That's the first time I seen somebody get stabbed over there, seen somebody get strangled.
So up until this time, you ain't seeing this type of shit. You just seeing fights and just regular.
Just seen fight. When I was in Clemens, I seen some dudes they used to have canned goods. I seen a dude get hit in the head with a canned good, get his head split. But that, as far as that type of violence, that was the extent to it. I got the styles over there. These dudes ain't playing. And for people that don't know, there's more women at this time than men work over there. And they hustling too. So he who has the biggest bankroll is going to live the most comfortable. Man, so I started off on the good side, what they have A and B side. The A side is where, more or less staying out of trouble side. It still goes on, but, you cool. They had B side. So I started off on A side in 97. Got in trouble. When did we get there? We got there in like the fall of 97. I got in trouble right before New Year's in 97 and never saw A side again. So
what you got caught up doing?
This was crazy. Where I slept, we were in the dorms, so just a row of bunk beds. So my neighbor was way up there in the Mexican mafia. So when he went to work, we got cool. So when he went to work, he like, youngster, watch me.
Hold it down.
On my shit. No problem. Because he tearing me off nice. Enough to where I can make some money, smoke, whatever. I have no issues with that. But I'm not perceiving the vultures around me that I'm cool with. They seeing a come up. So these clowns really got me caught in the cross, and them they got me killed. So he went to work. I stayed. He came back, but I didn't give him his stuff right then. But he knew where to get it though. I went outside. So he didn't say anything when we came back. Everything moving and shaking. The next day, the Mexicans jumped on one of my partners on the rec yard. And they gave it to him. So now it became a racial thing. So they get us all back in, everybody's on high alert. So my neighbor was like, somebody got my stuff. But he had a necklace that he kept himself. These fools, they took all the work, but they took his necklace. He said, tell your homeboy I just want that necklace back. My son gave that to me. He died. I didn't know who had the necklace. I had a good idea who had this stuff. In my mind, it's supposed to be honor amongst thieves. Somebody could at least gave me a heads up. So I'm really spinning my wheels like, where is the shit at? Need to get the shit back, whoop, whoop, whoop. So once that became apparent, the work wasn't coming back, I just turned my focus on to this necklace because every day is like, man, I gotta have that necklace back, man. It's gonna be some shit about this necklace. I'm trying, man. I don't know who has it. Come to find out, one of my partners had a master key. That's how they got in and got the shit. You see, because you could literally leave knowing you locked your stuff up, checked it, and left. These fools got a master key, so you come back, open up. So MC was like, yeah, I got the key. But he knew something was going on. He like, man, he say something about the necklace. I was like, yeah, where's the necklace? Like, man, I don't know. I didn't get the necklace. We just got the jewelry. Like, man, somebody need to turn up with something, man. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I'm gonna have to pay for this shit. So he like, man, just chill. We gonna find out. So the niggas who took the necklace underestimated what was gonna come about this. I went to school one night and came back.
Yes, I had to find it over.
Man, there was like 5 dudes fighting, some Mexicans and some brothers was fighting on the basketball court. But you just know being in prison when something is wrong because the tension just rises. There's always tension, but in these heavy situations, it's tough. When my homeboy's like, hey man, watch your back, man. These essays, they own you. I'm like, damn. So I go in, talk to dude. He's like, man, I'm trying to hold him off. I know you didn't have nothing to do with it. Because if I was going to get him, I'd have been got him. But he hit me with what you always hear down there. If you didn't do it, you should have did it. All right. That night, there was a mini riot in the dorm. So they came and got everybody. Locked everybody up. So we in jail. They call lockup. We call it jail in there. They got us all locked up. I wasn't saying anything. I was really just listening because I'm really trying to key in on conversations. I'm really, really, really trying to focus on who got this goddamn necklace. So the porter, the cleanup guy, comes to the door. He shot me a message from a couple of my partners. But then he came back a little later. It's like, man, I think it's a hit out on you. Just imagine, you know, hearing those words, you know what I'm saying? You know goddamn well what it means. What? Man, he said, I'm not for certain, man, but I think the message got a hit out on you. God damn. I sent word down to my partner, like, hey man, this shit done got out of control. I didn't tell him, I think. I told him, hey man, they do have a hit out on me. So he started raising hell, like, woo, 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 woo. We ain't letting it go down like this, woo, woo. There's a couple dudes a little too quiet, you know what I'm saying? So the next day, they come questioning everybody. So Captain Swift, never forget him. He pulled us out. So they get me in, I'm handcuffed, they get me in there, sit me down. He like, hey, blood. I said, hey, blood. What? Well, you're blood, ain't you? I said, no. Who told you that? Oh, never mind. You part of a riot, this, that, and the third. I wasn't. I looked like I was in a riot. I know some of you motherfucking, y'all can fight and this, that, and the third. I said, I don't fight that good. I'd have a scratch or something. I wasn't in that. Take him back to his cell. The next day, he got paperwork. Says here, extra cycle. I said, who's telling you this, man? No. I don't have no tattoos and none of this. Where are you getting this from? No, I'm not. No. Mm-mm. We don't go nowhere. The next day, I got it. Crips. I said, man, who are you getting your information from, man? What's going on, man? He said, well, we think there's a hit out on you. What are we supposed to do? I don't know. Mind you, I'm only 3 years in this thing. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what you want me to do. All I can do is protect myself. But they have been calling everybody else out 2 dudes was snitching. They had their shit off. Excuse my language. But it's still, they had their shit off. So when MC went and came back, he told me, he said, man, I know who got that goddamn necklace. He said, if we get up out of this here, we taking care of our business. Mind you, I'm still scared as, you know what I'm saying? I'm not hardened. So I'm like, all right, go back. I think about it. We stayed back there for months. They kept us locked up a long time. So, but right before they let us out, they took me, MC, and a couple other dudes to the wardens and stuff. Don't you go to school and ain't you been in no trouble? Like, yeah. I don't know what none of this is about. He say, I don't give a damn what this is about. Are you going to survive? I'll let you back out there. Yeah. Because one thing is a no-no. You don't go to PC. Not in Texas anyway. I can't speak for us about it. But that was never an option anyway. Man, I'm cool. I'm good. He like, sure? Yeah. You know, I mean, hell. What can I do? Don't go back to the dorms. You go to B-side. So basically, that story died right there because that's way on the other side of the unit. I got to get used to this world over here where all the fuck-ups is. And when I say fuck-ups, this was all the bad actors, the hustlers, pimps, the bangers, everything. It's kind of all right over here. Once I got used to it, I never had a desire to go back to the other side, and that's backwards. I'd rather stay over here in all this madness, and that's what it was. It was just a fucking zoo. You know what I'm saying? But I was comfortable. I liked it. You know what I'm saying? I got money. I get high, I get drunk, and do whatever I want to do. And as time went on, okay, I got in a fight in like 2000. I got in a fight in the kitchen. Dude, damn it, knocked my eye out of my head. And he got me with a good one. It's like literally like I went that way. So I had to go to the hospital for that. And I got a visit that same weekend. So I go out there, I got a patch on my face trying to explain what happened to my mother. She's like, God damn, what happened? Ooh, got in a fight, lost. So time goes on. So like all of this is going on, just same thing, a lot changes in prison. So I never forget in 2005, we rolling. And I needed some money for something. I said, I need you to send some money over here and we'll take care of business.
Had you stopped hustling and all that by that time?
Hell no.
Oh, you still up?
Yeah. I gambled too. The hustle was.
Oh, you just everybody get some money. I mean, yeah.
We all in, but at the end of it all, you're just doing it past the time. Because if you just sit there and think you're gonna do that amount of time, you're gonna go crazy. So she was like, when is this gonna stop, basically? And I said, listen, the only thing I can't do in here, and I'm not the only one, a bunch more. I said, the only thing I can't do is come home. She's like, what? I said, man, it's free for all in here. She seen I was comfortable, I was in shape, So she seen I wasn't having a hard time. But because I didn't hide anything from her, she knew what I was doing. So my worldview changed like a year after that. A couple things happened. The first thing did you ever listen to Tom Joyner?
Mm-hmm.
They had a show one morning. They were talking about crime. So he asked J. Anthony Brown, hey, if you ever have to go to prison, you got a preference where you want to go? This man didn't think, it just came right. Yes, I want to go to the Mark Stiles unit in Beaumont, Texas. They got women having sex over there. They got all the drugs, alcohol, whoop, whoop, whoop. The show went off at 9. They had the unit racked up at 9:30. We stayed locked down forever. They turned their unit upside down. They found what got left. But that was terrible because I had heard on other units they'll lock you down for so long you come out looking like a racehorse because you're gonna max out your commissary. So then now it's straight Johnny's, which is bologna sandwiches and cheese and peanut butter. Like, so that was my first time going through an extended stay like that. Like, shit. I still can't quite see the door, but I'm getting close to 10 years left. So a couple things happened with some of my homies, and about a year after that, we went on lockdown, and it takes about 3 weeks for them to shake the unit down. So we got up. Now, mind you, I'm on B side. My partners were on 4 building. I'm on 7 building. They on 4 building. So they let you up at breakfast, so you go to breakfast, so you get ready to go to work, whatever. So we made it to breakfast, and they immediately racked us back up. Like, damn, what's happening? So we didn't find out till 3 weeks later that one of our partners got murdered on the other side. So the details start coming out. Now, mind you, a lot of people think being in a gang, everybody got your back. Don't work like that. You really a man of a group. You might have the same tattoos, but you might not like me. You see what I'm saying? But we repping the same thing. And if you get caught in a twist like that, anything can happen. So this particular time, after that lockdown, they managed to get through a bunch of weed. So they were busting it down. So however true the dude told on them, and the lady working the desk told them who told on them. So for weeks on end, this nigga had to fight every day. They was on him. He wasn't punking out, but he was getting wore down too. So we're hearing about this shit. So one morning after breakfast, came and racked us up. Well, like, damn, what's up now? The lawman who worked, the new our partner, he got stabbed. So here's what happened. Dude was trying to get at him because he felt like you told on me, man. You know what I'm saying? So you got to pay for that. For some reason, they found a shank somewhere in the building, but they kept it behind the desk. Everybody in prison knew it was back there. You know what I'm saying? When they were coming back from breakfast, they jumped on food. He couldn't take it no more. So he jumped behind the desk, threw the lady out the way, grabbed the shank, and started moving around with it. Now here's where you find out who got your back and who don't. Dudes scattered like roaches when the lights come on. So my guy who lost his life, he's a Crip. Let's see, it was him, 2 real. So you had 2 Crips, a Blood, a Mandingo warrior, and I think just a regular.
What the fuck is a Mandingo warrior?
It's more or less a prison gang. It's a black gang, like you heard of BGF in California, something along those lines. But yeah, they're not a street gang. It's a prison gang. Another story, another day. I'm cool with a bunch of them, but they do some off the wall.
Oh, with the
that too, but just
because I was thinking Mandingo, I be thinking like that shit just reminded me of like Oz. You know what I'm saying? I was like, that's some.
They not. How Bernie Mac say, we're moving on.
Yeah.
So, so the dudes scattered when they seen the knife. So he's chasing my niggas around. And the way this unit is set up, it's what's called a new unit. So it's kind of futuristic. Like, so you come in the front door, there's a pod in front of you, there's a pod on the left, and there's a pod on the right. So they're running around like chickens. He's swinging his goddamn shank, they trying to dodge it. So they go to one pod, hit the button, the law didn't open the door. They seen what was going on. Shake back around, go to the other end. Law and the picket was asleep. No go. While they're trying to get either out the front door to this other pod. No, right before that, one of the Crip dudes grabbed a water igloo and threw it at him, kind of hit him. So that threw him off a little bit. But while they were turning to get through there, who hit him? Boom. So this thing was about that long. It was long enough to go through him. So he hit him, pulled it out, dropped it. He bailed. So my partner, who's blood, he grabbed Squeak. So there was an infirmary, like there was one on the building, but it wasn't open at that time, so you had to go a good ways around. So he said that they got out the door, they got through the gate, and they have what's called a turnout, like A turnout, B turnout. They have a turnout right there. So he said right when he got to the turnout, fool eyes rolled up in his head and he took like a and he died right there in his arms. So mind you, this is the blood carrying a Crip now. So this blows over. Some shit happened on our building with the Bloods and Crips. So somebody was talking real greasy one day. And I'm like, say, man, you forget one of them niggas tried to save our partner's life, man. You know what I'm saying? I know, shit is the way it is. So my reason, I never really had a deep-seated hatred for Blood because one of my brothers is a Blood. He grew up out there in Cali. He grew up in South Central. That's what he did. You know what I'm saying? So I never saw it the way dudes here saw it. So it just rubbed me the wrong way to where kind of, all right. So what pushed me to go to Ramsey, the gay stuff is real in there. You know what I'm saying? The gay stuff is real.
Talking about that Ramsey?
No, prison, period.
Prison,
but
period,
on
yeah.
Styles, it was just out of control. So like they everywhere. They got on makeup, they all kinds of shit. So
see the violence in that shit. Well, I be like, bro, I don't want no parts of prison,
but
bro.
that's where a lot of it stems from, though. You see what I'm saying? So I'm just share this. There was a youngster out of Dallas that he pulled up to the unit, and at this time, he loved to play basketball, and he wanted to watch it every time it came on. So that was his thing, He was a cool little youngster. But this punk was on him, you know what I'm saying? Just shooting at him. He's like, man, I'm not gay, leave me alone with the whoop. But this punk fucked with this dude who had a little authority. So he was getting more and more frustrated. He even went to dude like, man, you tell this whole leave me alone with whoop. Like, yeah, I got it. They'll do their thing, whatever. One day, he wasn't trying to hear it. This punk said something to him. I mean, he landed just flushing eye. And boy, I blew up. This. So there's understandings that if you have a problem with somebody, to take it to the dude, right? Sometimes you ain't got time for all that. You know what I'm saying? If you're trying to make something stop, you got to make it stop right then and there. So dude wasn't in no gang or nothing, but dude from Dallas was down with him, and there was a lot of Bloods that was down with him. So a couple of days passed, we all chilling, but fool come in like, man, it's going down at the turnout with whoop. So we mob out to the turnout. Seemed like every gangbang on the unit was out there. So we don't necessarily know what's going on, you know what I'm saying? You just know we over here, they over there, something finna go down. So word kind of start trickling back what the problem is. So a couple of us, we talking, we chopping it up. Like, hey man, this buying a gay shit? Like, man, I don't know, man. See, so, fools talking, arguing, you know what I'm saying? It's like a powder keg. It's finna blow. So, one dude, he's like, man, I ain't finna fight over another nigga ass, man. What the fuck wrong with y'all? Whoop, whoop, whoop. I'm like, so this is some homosexual shit? I chunked the deuce and sold it about 20 other dudes, man. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just a bad vibe that technically you in a gang, in a family or whatever, you ain't supposed to be doing that shit, but it was just accepted over there. But if you get tied up in that, you'll be in more shit, you know what I'm saying? One, you run it, because a lot of them people had HIV over there, there's all kinds of shit going on. But it's just like,
Kids, do not go to prison, man. If you watching this, do not go to prison, man. We've been talking for 2 hours. I'm gonna have to have you come back. Cause we've been going for about 2 hours. But dog, this is fucking nuts. Okay. Take me to what was your mind state when you get ready to come home? Had you already shook all that, or you still was just like, shit, I gotta ride it out till I leave?
Ramsey is...
That's where you finished up at Ramsey?
Yeah. I did 10.5 on Styles and the other 10, the remaining 10 on Ramsey. Ramsey had a reputation of it's a protection unit, tattletale, that's where they send all that, and school. But it's still a maximum security prison. I didn't understand that. I'd just been totally indoctrinated by what's going on Styles. So I went over there with,
with that mentality.
Right. And some dudes I knew that was over there had been there. They was like, you can't do it like that over here. You still get it in, but it's gonna be at a whole lot less than
much slower pace, yeah.
Right. And by no means was, like I say, I wasn't the top dog, wasn't never near it, you know what I'm saying? I just did my thing and kept it moving. But on Ramsey, you wasn't just sitting around blowing and doing, they gonna tell it over there, you know what I'm saying? So eventually I got there in 08, no, 2007, excuse me. Got there, I tried it, seeing that the environment just wasn't conducive to that. But they still got women over there. So you do that, you do your thing. You try to work your way to a job to where everything's cool. So I wound up in what's called ODR, the officer's dining room. So now you just around, you got first dibs, shoot your shot, shoot it. You get chose, whatever. But you just want to be in spots to where, one, you don't have eyes on you all the time, and you can do your thing. So when my mother passed away in 2011, that kind of, something broke inside. So now I can see the door. She died and I still had 3 years left to come up parole. So I ease back. So first time come up parole, get a set off. Second time come up parole, get a set off. A set off means that they're not granting parole that time. The first time it was 2 years, the second time it was 1 year. So I had a parole attorney, and Mary Simone. I told her, I get another set off, I'm not participating anymore. She's like, what? Look, I done did all these years. I've been out of trouble for the most part. I only caught like one case over there. That's for another time. I said, I've been out the way for several years now. They set me off again. I'm not putting my family through this no more. I'm just finished the sentence. And I had my mind made up. I'm going to do these last 16 and a half years somewhere in TZ, but I'm not doing it because I'd seen dudes do it before, but they did it like closer to the door. But that's how frustrating it was. Y'all asked me to do this, that, and the third. Education, behavior, this, that. What are you holding me for? She like, no, I'm not gonna do that. I said, okay, I tell you what, I'm not going to any more parole interviews, none of that. So, do what you do. Fortunately, it happened. I made parole. But I had my mind made up well before I came home, because on Styles, one of my partners told me, like, homie, before you go home, you need to decide whether you're going to be a civilian, you're still going to be a gangster. I'm like, okay. It didn't resonate then, but I never forgot, you see. And I still attribute some of my success that I have today to when he told me
one
that.
look, yeah.
You get some gems. If you paying attention, your eyes open and your ears open, you'll get some gems from, killers, whatever. You see what I'm saying? Because once you get to know somebody, what they did to get there becomes irrelevant for them, unless they just did something so heinous like, But, I got lifelong friends that did some shit that, like, the average person be like, how can you even associate with them? Because I know the man. You see what I'm saying? It's not for me to judge him. He did what he did. I did what I did. Some people look at what I did as the worst thing in the world. So people supposed to hate me forever for that?
Right. Man, well, dog, I got to have you come back, bro.
I appreciate it.
You know what I'm saying? Listen, this is Kyle Mathews, man. It's Kyle Mathews' story. That's what I'm calling it. It's Kyle Mathews' story. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate you, bro, like for real. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. I appreciate you, man.
Already, Kyle Mathews, Donnie Houston. It's Donnie Houston Podcast, man. We out.
Donnie Houston.
Subscribe to the Donnie Houston Podcast, man.